I'm Uma, 32, real estate agent in Austin, Texas, with what I thought was a solid family life. My grandma has always been my anchor, the one who truly believed in me. Last Sunday brunch at my parents' place in Round Rock changed everything when my brother's phone lit up on the kitchen counter. The screen flashed a group chat titled My Family that I'd never seen. What froze me was the message preview, $50,000 split evenly among all, and my mom's text, "Don't tell Uma. She'll just complicate things." My own family was scheming to cut me out of Grandma's will right under my nose. Before I spill how I uncovered their betrayal and struck back, drop a comment with where you're watching from. Smash that like button and subscribe if you crave more raw family secrets and revenge tales. Growing up in that single-story ranch house on a quiet cul-de-sac in Round Rock felt like living in two different worlds depending on who you were. My dad, Eli Ives, spent his days as an oil and gas engineer, coming home with grease under his nails and stories about pipeline pressures that none of us kids understood. Mom, Peg Ives, taught third grade until she retired early 5 years ago, always grading papers at the kitchen table while dinner simmered on the stove. They built a comfortable life on steady paychecks and careful saving, the kind where vacations meant a week at Lake Travis, not some fancy resort. Grandma Nan moved in with us when I was 10 after Grandpa passed from a sudden stroke. She took over the spare bedroom and turned the backyard into her domain, rows of tomato plants, a lemon tree in a pot, and a picnic table, where she taught me how to roll out pie crust with a wine bottle when we didn't have a rolling pin. "Real estate's in your blood, kiddo," she'd say, wiping flour off my cheeks. "Your great-grandpa flipped houses during the oil bust. You've got the eye for it." I'd nod, dreaming of open houses and closing deals while my parents pushed nursing brochures across the dinner table. "Stable job, good benefits," Dad would mutter. Mom added, "Girls need security, Uma." My older sister Oakley fit their mold perfectly. 7 years ahead of me, she aced every test, joined debate club, and graduated with an accounting degree before anyone blinked. Now she manages finances for a mid-size logistics firm downtown, pulling 6 figures and driving a leased Audi that still smells new. Family gatherings turn into her showing off quarterly reports or advising Mom on Roth IRA conversions. Compliments flow her way like water, smart, responsible, the one who makes them proud. Then there's my little brother Dale, the undeniable baby of the family at 25. Mom still calls him my sweet boy, even though he towers over her. He got away with everything, skipping chores to play video games, extra allowance for comic books, a used truck on his 16th birthday, while I biked to my part-time job at the mall. These days, he freelances in IT coding apps from his apartment couch in gym shorts, yet every Sunday he rolls into brunch like a celebrity. Mom piles extra bacon on his plate without asking. I tried the path they wanted at first. Enrolled in nursing school straight out of high school, white scrubs and all. 2 semesters in, the sight of blood still turned my stomach, and the rigid schedules felt like a cage. Grandma Nan slipped me a real estate exam prep book under the table one night. "Follow what sets your soul on fire," she whispered. I dropped out, got my license at 21, and started hustling open houses on weekends. The first closing check hit my account, $5,000, and I framed the stub. Mom's response: reckless. "You'll be broke by 30. Dad cut my college fund contributions cold, saying I needed to learn responsibility. Flipping houses became my rhythm. I'd spot a fixer-upper in an up-and-coming neighborhood, negotiate hard, oversee renos on nights and weekends. Profits rolled in slow, but steady. Grandma cheered loudest, baking pecan pies for every closing. Oakley smirked, calling it gambling with houses. Dale borrowed tools from my garage without asking, then bragged about his crypto gains at family dinners. The divorce hit 6 months ago like a foreclosure notice I never saw coming. My ex walked out after 3 years, citing different priorities. Translation: he wanted kids. Now I wanted to scale my business. The settlement left me with the condo we'd flipped together, now half paid, half headache, and a stack of legal bills. Market slowed with interest rates climbing. Showings dried up. I skipped 2 mortgage payments before catching up with credit cards. Word spread through the family grapevine faster than a hot listing. Mom's texts turned pitying. Come home if you need to. Oakley offered to review my budget like I was a charity case. Dale joked I should sell NFTs of my open house signs. Grandma Nan never judged. Even after her Alzheimer's diagnosis 2 years back, mild enough that she still knew our names and birth dates, she'd squeeze my hand during visits to her room at the assisted living facility 15 minutes away. You're building something real, honey. Don't let them dim your spark. Her savings account, built from decades of smart investments Grandpa left, sat untouched, except for facility fees. She'd mentioned once, casual over coffee, that everything would split 3 ways between her grandkids, fair and square. I believed her. Looking back, the favoritism wasn't loud fights or slammed doors. It was quieter cuts. Oakley's college fully funded while I scraped loans, Dale's truck versus my bus pass, Mom's proud smile reserved for report cards and coding gigs. My success in real estate threatened the narrative they'd written. Oakley, the brain; Dale, the charm me, the wild card who'd eventually crash. The divorce sealed it. In their eyes, I'd become the cautionary tale. 6 months after my divorce settled, I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment off Palmer Lane, the kind with thin walls, and a balcony barely big enough for 2 chairs. Commissions trickled in, one closing every 6 weeks if lucky, while buyers waited out high interest rates. I ate ramen some nights, told myself it built character. The family started Sunday brunches 2 years ago, right after Grandma moved to the assisted living place off University Boulevard. Mom insisted it kept everyone connected, though we all knew it revolved around her schedule. She'd text the group Saturday night, scrambled eggs, sausage links, fruit salad be there by 10. Dad grilled on the back patio, flipping links without a word. Oakley arrived with store-bought muffins. Dale stumbled in late, clutching coffee. Mom handled Grandma's finances since signing the power of attorney paperwork at the lawyer's office downtown. Someone responsible needs to, she'd said, glancing my way. Bills for the facility came out automatically. The rest sat in a joint account she monitored like a hawk. She updated us on balances during mimosas, how much for meds, how much left for emergencies. I still drove over twice a week on my own Tuesdays, after showings, and Thursdays before dinner. Grandma's room smelled like lavender sachets and the oatmeal cookies I baked from scratch. We'd sit by the window, her spotting birds, while I read listings aloud. That mid-century on Oakmont needs paint, she'd comment, sharp as ever on details. At brunch, conversation stayed surface level. Dale launched into his latest gig, building an app for local food trucks, gesturing wild with fork in hand. Mom beamed, refilling his plate. Oakley pulled out her phone, scrolling spreadsheets. Grandma's portfolio gained 3% this quarter, she announced. We should shift to bonds. Nods all around like she'd cracked some code. Dad stayed quiet, wiping grill marks off the spatula. He avoided money talks, changed the subject to Longhorns football whenever tensions rose. I picked at cantaloupe, smiled when expected. My own updates: 2 offers pending, 1 fell through. Earned polite. That's nice. Before the topic shifted back to Dale's launch party or Oakley's promotion, the exclusion built slow. Invites to midweek dinners stopped coming my way. Group texts about Grandma's doctor visits excluded me. Mom scheduled the facility's family council meetings on nights I had closings. I mentioned it once. She brushed it off. You're busy building your empire, honey. The word empire dripped sarcasm. I kept showing up Sundays, partly for Grandma, partly to prove I belonged. Loaded my plate, laughed at Dale's jokes, asked Oakley about tax deadlines. Inside, the gap widened. They formed a unit, Mom directing, Oakley calculating, Dale entertaining, Dad enabling. I hovered on the edge, the sibling who chose wrong and paid for it. Grandma noticed during my solo visits. They treat you like the black sheep, she said one afternoon, folding a cookie into a napkin for later. Don't let it stick. I promised I wouldn't, but the sting lingered. Last Sunday changed the routine when Dale excused himself mid-conversation to hit the bathroom, leaving his phone face up next to the syrup bottle. The screen buzzed once, lighting with a notification banner I couldn't ignore. It showed a group chat labeled My Family and a preview line about money splitting. I glanced around, Mom clearing plates into the sink with efficient clinks, Dad outside scraping the grill with a wire brush, Oakley checking emails on her laptop at the far end of the table. No one paid attention. My thumb hovered over the banner heart, already picking up speed, then tapped, before I could talk myself out of it. The chat loaded instantly, members listed across the top, Mom, Dad, Oakley, Dale. My name absent, like I never existed. Messages filled the screen in a rush. I scrolled up with a swipe breath shallow. Mom had posted an hour earlier, time-stamped during the drive, over $50,000 in cash from the rental sale closes Tuesday. Split 4 ways, even keeps it clean. Oakley fired back within seconds. POA gives us authority to update the will before the check clears. Uma's too unstable post-divorce to manage responsibly. Dad added a simple thumbs-up emoji, nothing more. Dale's reply came hesitant. I don't like sneaking around, but Mom says it's for Grandma's protection. I kept scrolling, fingers trembling slightly. Oakley laid out the rationale in bullet points. Recent settlement drained her accounts. Last flip, lost money on carrying costs. She'll waste her share on legal fees or another bad investment. Mom chimed in. We file the amendment Monday morning, record it Tuesday afternoon. No loose ends. Dale again, voice practically audible. Fine, but this feels wrong. She's still family. Farther back, planning stretched days. Oakley shared a scanned POA page highlighting the durable clause. Mom confirmed notary appointment at the bank branch on Louis Henna Boulevard. Dad asked only about wiring instructions for his portion. No debate, no guilt beyond Dale's weak protests. My pulse hammered loud enough I swore they'd hear. I switched to screenshot mode, capturing every exchange. 14 images, total dates and times, stamped clear. The final text from Mom sealed it. Keep it quiet from her. She complicates everything and drags emotions into business. Footsteps echoed from the hallway, rubber soles on tile. I locked the phone, slid it back precisely where the case edge aligned with the placemat seam, and grabbed a dish towel from the counter like I'd been wiping spills. Dale reclaimed his seat, pocketed the device without a second glance, and dove back into his story about a buggy food truck app update. Laughter picked up around the table. I forced smiles through the rest of brunch, cheeks tight. Helped stack plates, rinsed glasses under hot water, hugged everyone goodbye in the driveway. The 20-minute drive home on I-35, blurred, traffic lights bleeding red, radio static I didn't bother changing. Door locked behind me in the apartment, I collapsed onto the couch, pulled out my own phone, and opened the photos folder. Each screenshot stared back under the harsh screen glow. $50,000 proceeds from Grandma's duplex on Burnett Road, the one I'd helped stage for sale. Negotiated repairs closed last month. 4 ways meant $12,500 apiece for them, nothing for me. The will amendment violated every conversation Grandma ever had about fairness. I zoomed on Dale's reluctant texts, Oakley's bullet point justifications, Mom's clipped directives. Dad's single emoji spoke volumes of complicity. Betrayal shifted from heat to cold calculation. Confronting now meant they'd delete the thread claim. Misunderstanding lock me out further. I needed ironclad proof, Grandma's own voice stating intent dated after their scheme. Pacing the narrow living room carpet, threads wearing under my socks, I outlined steps. Visit her tomorrow, outside regular hours, record on my phone, disguised as showing property photos. Research Texas statutes on POA overreach and undue influence. No accusations yet. They assumed I complicated matters, I'd complicate them right back with facts they couldn't erase. That night, I drove straight to Stark's place, a second-floor walk-up near the Domain, with pizza boxes stacked by the door. Stark Reed. My old community college buddy turned paralegal at a downtown firm opened in sweats and raised an eyebrow at my face. I spilled everything over cheap beer on his couch phone passed across with the images open. He scrolled slow, whistling low. POA handles finances and medical sure. But rewriting a will, only if the principal lacks capacity. Grandma lucid, I nodded hard. He pulled a legal pad, jotted notes. Texas Probate Code Section 751 durable power stops at testamentary acts unless explicitly granted, which standard forms don't. Get her on record stating intent while she's clear. That kills any amendment. I left with his printout of relevant statutes and a plan forming. Sleep came in fits, alarm set early. Monday morning, I called in sick to the office, voice steady despite the lie. Drove to the facility by 9, signed the visitor log version 1.0, carried a bakery bag as cover. Grandma sat in her armchair, crossword half done. I kissed her cheek, set up my phone on the side table angled like we reviewed house photos. Hit record hidden under a listing app. We chatted light weather, birds at the feeder. I steered gentle. Remember talking about your estate? You always said fair split. She set the pencil down, eyes sharp. 3 grandkids equal always. No favorites. Tell your mom that. Clear, firm, dated by the app timestamp. I saved the file twice, heart steady for the first time. Noon found me at Bean There, a corner spot off 183 with outdoor tables. Dale arrived, flustered, hoodie zipped despite heat. I ordered his usual iced latte, slid my phone across with one screenshot visible. His face drained. How explain? My voice low, table between us like a barrier. He crumbled fast, eyes welling. Oakley pushed Mom hard. Said your divorce proved irresponsibility, that you'd fight us in court anyway. I argued, but folded. Tears tracked down, he wiped with a napkin. I hate this. He unlocked his phone, opened a private thread with Oakley. Forwarded screenshots, her drafting the amendment language, Mom approving, notary times, pressure on him to sign witness. Take them. I'm out after this. His hand shook, passing it over. I copied everything to my cloud, deleted nothing from his side. He stared at the table. Fix it, Uma, before they ruin everything Grandma built. Monday afternoon took me to Oakley's office in a glass tower off Mopac, security badge, clipped at the lobby desk, elevator, climbing 30 floors without a sound. Her assistant waved me past the frosted door into a corner suite overlooking downtown traffic. Oakley sat behind a wide walnut desk, dual monitors casting blue light on quarterly reports. She looked up, cool, no warmth. Unexpected drop in. Her voice clipped. Post-divorce chaos doesn't scream reliability, Uma. I shut the door firm, leaned back against it. Explain the will amendment. She clicked print on her keyboard, color pages sliding from the tray, pushed a thick spreadsheet across the polished surface. My name, headed columns, settlement, payout, breakdown, credit card statements pulled from annual reports. Mortgage, late notices flagged in red from county records. Bottom row, totaled risk score, critical. This data justifies the update, she stated. Your financial history since the split proves you can't manage sudden cash. I flipped pages, every closing cost overrun from my last flip, circled divorce attorney fees, itemized even a skipped HOA payment. Grandma decides distribution, not your algorithms. She leaned back, arms folded. We're shielding her legacy from your pattern of bad calls. I tucked the printout into my bag, left without reply. Rush hour south on I-35, crawled, brake lights stretching miles, pulled into the Round Rock driveway as automatic porch lights flickered on garage door, humming open for Dad's truck. Mom greeted at the entry in a faded apron, pot roast scent wafting from the kitchen. Dad occupied the leather recliner, baseball game on mute, beer untouched. Mom wiped hands on a towel. 2 visits in 48 hours. I stepped onto the woven rug center room. We discussed Grandma's estate now. Dad's gaze lifted, briefly returned to the screen. Mom crossed arms tight. We're protecting her savings from your string of poor choices, dear. By forging a new will? Her jaw set. It's responsible planning. Dad adjusted volume down further, remote gripped white. I pulled my phone thumb to the morning file set volume mid-level. Grandma's voice cut clear through the quiet. 3 grandkids, equal shares, no favorites, always been my rule. Mom lunged to silence it. She mixes days now. I held the device steady. Recorded 10 o'clock this morning, fully oriented. POA covers bills, not testamentary changes. Dad cleared his throat, once eyes on the carpet. Mom rallied sharp. You're exploiting momentary clarity. Tension coiled, thick wall clock ticking loud over the muted announcer. I pocketed the phone. Cancel the filing by tomorrow, or I involve the courts. Oakley's risk model weighed heavy in my bag. Mom's deflection rang hollow. Dad's refusal to engage sealed the fracture. Tuesday morning, the facility called while I poured coffee, voice calm but urgent. Grandma Nan had collapsed in the hallway, overheard Mom bragging on speakerphone about getting it signed today. Ambulance rushed her to St. David's North ICU by 10. I arrived breathless, badge clipped straight to the nurse's station. Dr. Patel reviewed charts, listened to my recording on low volume. Orientation intact. No confusion pre-fall, she confirmed, signing the capacity note. I emailed Vale Harper, elder law specialist. Stark recommended attaching everything, screenshots, audio, POA copy. Reply came fast, emergency guardianship freeze, filed by noon. Wednesday night, they summoned everyone to the house. Living room lights, harsh folding chairs dragged in. Mom stood center, arms crossed. Dad by the window staring at the dark yard. Oakley clutched a legal folder. Dale paced near the door. Vale laid documents on the coffee table, original will, from 5 years back, Grandma's fresh statement. Any amendment requires court oversight, capacity proven. Oakley cut in sharp. Will countersue for harassment, drain your savings. Mom nodded. You're tearing this family apart. Dad stayed mute, hands in pockets. Dale grabbed his keys. Mid-sentence muttered, I'm done, and walked out. Engine revved, tires squealed down the street. 2 months blurred into depositions and hearings. Vale shredded Mom's doctor affidavit, paid consultant, conflict disclosed. Judge ruled POA abuse, reinstated original will, awarded me attorney fees. Facility countersued Mom for breach of fiduciary duty. Settlement stripped her school district consulting gig. Oakley's firm docked year-end bonus to cover $25,000 in billable hours. Dale blocked every number relocated to Sacramento for remote coding contracts. 1 month post-ruling, Grandma slipped away quietly in her sleep monitors, steady until the end. Hospice nurse called at dawn. I held her hand, lavender scent faint. Funeral, small me, Vale 2 aides. No family row. My share wired clean, $50,000 cash plus duplex proceeds. Closed on a 2-bedroom condo in Muller brick backyard, oak keys heavy in my palm. Changed locks, updated contacts, blocked threads. Mom's voicemail piled up, then stopped. Oakley's LinkedIn updates ignored. Dad mailed a card, no return address. Dale vanished online. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Self-respect is the only inheritance that compounds. I learned it the hard way. Standing alone proves stronger than any table I once begged to join. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If betrayal ever hit your family, how did you rebuild? Drop your story below. I read everyone. Like, subscribe, share if this hit home. See you in the next truth.